Nobody wants to give bad presentations. Nobody really wants to be boring in front of an audience or mediocre. They just don't, and you probably don't either. Now the problem is, who's going to decide about this is going to be the audience. And your audience is changing. Well, think about it. You also are the audience, and your concentration span is really short. Go through Instagram. It takes you 7 seconds, it takes you 15 seconds to decide if what you see is of any interest. Think about the YouTube videos that you watch and the ads that come before that, because I feel that sometimes those 4 or 10 seconds seem like a real long time. Now, whenever you're on stage, you will be judged against the last stand-up comedian they've seen or the last Hollywood movie they've seen. So that's the level. That's the conflict, that's the competition you're against, and your presentations, your meetings, everything that you do will seem as if it was entertainment and will be judged as such. Whenever you're on stage, you are a performer. And that's one of the first takeaways from today, which is whenever you are on stage or in a meeting, whenever there is an audience, think of yourself as a performer. Think of yourself as an actor in front of a crowd who has to entertain and how has to be entertaining. So, before we go any further, let's just think about how movies really work. You see, every movie you've ever seen has the same emotional roller coaster. It goes from happy moments to sad moments, and if you spread it out through 90 minutes, the first moment is happy, the last moment is happy, but everything in between goes between happy moments, sad moments, suspense moments, and unhappy moments. Let me give you a bigger example. Imagine you're watching a thriller. Every thriller you've ever seen, the final moment, all of a sudden the hero survives the big endeavor, the big adventure, and he feels great about the success. He turns away from the killer, but the killer wasn't dead. Killer comes up, but thank God the grandmother had a gun, shoots the killer, and we are saved. So in movie magic, we're talking about the structure of a script. And every script you've ever seen has, for example, that last little moment of almost at the end, but something bad happens. The same as in Titanic, the same as in Star Wars, or any other movie you've seen. So there is suspense, there is drama, and then there is a moment of happiness that comes after. You cannot talk to an audience and just be throughout happy. Maybe you want to convey them that what you're talking about is a happy experience, but if you don't start out your presentation with this outline, going from suspense to drama to happy motivation or buying the product, your presentation will be flat. So what we really experience when we talk about boring presentations are that presentations have a lack of change in emotion. Let's take this a step further. Let's think about how you can incorporate into your presentation these different emotions. Let's practice the different emotions, and let's see a practical application of how these different emotions really will change your presentation. Now, the big question you're going to ask is, but how do they do that? How are you able to change emotions in an audience? The truth is, none of the emotions that we feel, we just feel by itself. There is always either a thought, an emotional transference, a body language, or a change in the voice tone that gets you to feel different things. So actors, they learn how to create the emotion within themselves and then project the emotion onto the audience. I'm going to give you an example. We all know a salesperson who's trying to fake a smile, who make us believe that they're having a great day, but they really don't. They go around and they say, hey, this is really the greatest vacuum cleaner you have ever seen, but their face tells us that they're unhappy. So for actors, and for you as a performer from now on in, to be able to change somebody's emotions, you need to use your real emotion. So what you're going to learn now is you're going to get basically a performance training in the next couple of minutes that's going to allow you to get these emotions that you already have, to get them out of yourself, put them in the right places, and by doing that, changing the emotional state of your audience. That's the overall goal here. They need to feel something and something different throughout the presentation. You need to go through these 3 points when they're doing that. The first emotion that we're looking at is suspense. Now, imagine you're telling a scary children's story. I would like you to take a minute and to try it out. Imagine that once upon a time, in the land far, far away, there was a little girl. She walked through the woods. Nobody else was around. Please continue. Take a minute, maybe take out your phone and tape yourself giving a presentation or a story, telling a story where there's suspense involved. When you're done with this, I would like you to talk about something very serious, like a newscaster. You talk about the problems that you face dealing with global warming, that we're all worried about the future of the world, that the sea levels are rising, that at this point we are expecting more and more problems to our climate, more and more problems to the weather. You see how my voice is changing, how I'm trying to convey a different emotion, a sense of urgency, a sense of drama. Practice that for a couple of minutes. Now, go ahead and practice to be motivating, to be exciting, to be talking about something that really makes you happy. Talk about a great trip that you took with your family. See, we went to New York with my son about a year ago, and it was a wonderful trip. It was exciting because he was walking through the street, and he was just really happy to see the big things and all these houses and all these great things. So practice that for another 30 seconds. One is suspense, the problem of a children's story. Drama is the second emotion, the sensation of something is happening, something is really problematic. And the last one needs to be motivating. It needs to be truly coming from something that you care about, so you can recognize and know what is the one emotion that's going to finish your presentation on a high note. On a note that, hey, it's great to be here, it's great to purchase your product, it's great to listen to your presentation. Cool. Let's look at a real example, because you're asking, why are we practicing emotions? Wouldn't that work? I'm trying to give you the tools, just like a cook would use sugar and salt and pepper, and you need to dosify them and see how much of them you want to put into your own presentation. So for example, I'm going to talk about retail, about the problem in retail. That's my big presentation about retail and their problems. I need to start out with something that gets the attention of the audience, that's suspenseful. You know that the stores are slowly dying, that retail is coming to a point where they cannot longer survive. If you step back for a second, you will see how I will use the emotion of suspense to make the topic that we're talking about something interesting, something that the audience would want to hear about. This is really problematic. These retail stores are dying. I follow up with probably some drama, because I'm giving you facts now. I'm talking about numbers. I'm talking about statistics. I'm talking about where we're at is that every other week stores are closing all across the country. You can see that a lot of people are losing their employment. You look at Walmart, you look at retail stores in general, at Macy's, you see how they're closing all around the country. Right? So I start with suspense, I come to the problem, and here comes the solution. Every presentation that you give has a reason for being, and therefore every presentation needs to have a solution, a reason why you are a great speaker, because you are able to solve a key problem. The solution, therefore, will come with an uplifting emotion, and also, if you're working in sales, with a reason of buying a product. So we started out with, this is going to be the end of retail stores. It's going to be bad for a lot of people. I'm rephrasing here. Obviously, you have much better words and text of what to say here. You go into the drama of, this are facts. These facts are real. But you're going to end always on a high note. But thank God that we have a solution for all these retail problems. And at this point, we came up with an app that allows retail stores to now be able to have a better engagement with their customers and be able to get them back and to figure out a way to survive this incredible big problem. It ends up on a happy note. It ends up showing to the audience that you are a person who knows about the subject and that's able to give a presentation that has problems, solutions. Every product that you're selling, there's something missing in the audience. That's why they don't have the product. Throughout your presentation, you lead them through the facts of why your product is important, and you always leave the audience wanting more, asking them, how can I get this? How can I buy this? One way to create an emotion in the audience is through your emotional transference, meaning you're going to use your own emotions, emotion of suspense, drama, and happiness, and just incorporate them into your presentation so that there is a change and that the audience is going to feel it. Here comes the next big one. The words are only 7% of the impact, the emotional impact that they're going to have on the audience. Another big chunk is the tone of your voice, the way you say it, the way you use your voice. And another big chunk is the body language. So let's deal with that one. What are you going to do with your hands? What are you going to do when you sit in front of an audience, when you stand in front of an audience? Well, your body is divided into 3 different parts: your brain, your heart, and your sex. And your hands mean a lot of different things. Now imagine you're sitting there and I'm talking to you and I say, hi, welcome. It is so great to have you here. I would like you all to come a little closer, sit up front with me so we can talk and we can discuss things. Maybe people here on the right, move on over, change the sides, from the back, come forward, the forward, go back. It seems like a very inviting, a very happy gesture. Well, let me show you doing the same thing with the hands the other way around. So I want all people from the back to come forward, to go back, and the sides just to swipe on over, right? Using the hands the other way around. The third option would be to use my finger. So I want all the people in the back, you, to come up front, all the sides, from the sides to move on over, and you just go on back. The way we use our hands is a direct language, a direct communication to the center of people. You will unconsciously feel how people project themselves to you just by the use of their hands. If you look at the presidents, they all go through different kinds of trainings and are very aware of the use of the hands and what it means to the audience. Giving you an example, usually presidents, when they stand, they don't show anything with their hands. They're not giving anything away for free. They're not hiding anything. Their hands are very, straight to their body, not giving away any emotions. This is called the Obama hug. It is bringing people together. It is a way of bringing people and unifying different people together, and that's where I want you to be. You're on stage and you're a person who is wriggling their fingers and who is really intertwined like a porcupine. This is a very complicated problem. Now, your hands never belong on your face, because if I put my hand here, it seems like I have a lot of things to hide. If I cross my arms, it means I'm emotionally not available to you. So when you stand and when you speak, your hands are always available, and your hands are there to talk about the subject, to bring them out, and to unify with a solution. To sum it up, concluding points. We're all on this together. We're talking different aspects, and we're bringing them together. Think of your body language as a TV screen, which is right around here. You have the option of, in this TV screen, pointing out different elements of your presentation. So this is great, and this is great, and this is also great, wouldn't mean much. But if I say, this is number 1, it's blue. Here is the blue option. Here's what would happen if we go blue. And here on the other side is the red option. So here is another option, and that's what it would look like. Visually, divide the space that you're in into option A, option B. Let me tell you one more time. So there's option A, which is blue, and there's option B, which is red. Well, there's option A, which is blue, and there's option B, which is red. Now, option A is really, really expensive. It costs about $3,000, but it comes with lights. It comes with all kinds of little knickknacks. Now, option B on this side is red. It is $55. It's a very simple version. It is right over here. This one is a great option. This is also a good option. Which one do you like? Right? So people who are visual, people who learn differently than you do, they will get your points just because you're now using the screen on how to have that conversation. To sum it up, here are 3 questions I want to leave you with, which hopefully put all of this into perspective and get you a new sense of how to do presentations. How do you want to feel during a presentation? How do you want to feel? You want to feel great. So before you go to a presentation, think about how do you want to feel in the presentation, and how can you take the anxiety out of every presentation that you give. You want to feel calm and collected. You want to feel in charge, and you want to feel that this is going to be at least a pleasurable experience. For many people, giving presentations creates anxiety. The truth is, for most people, it creates anxieties, because depending on who you are, it's just a question of size. So some people are fine with 20 people, some people are happy with 100 people, and some music stars I've worked with, they still get anxious because they have to sing in front of 20,000 people. So anxiety is the thing that you want to work with before you do any presentation. So I can recommend that you have some music. Later on in the bigger program, I'm going to show you some other ideas that I have. But basically, you need to find a space before any presentation where you can warm up your emotions, where you can calm yourself down from the stress of everyday life. I recommend you go either to a restroom, you sit there with some music, or you go into your car, and you give yourself 5 or 10 minutes to step out of the rushing and the working and the presenting, and you allow yourself to turn into a performer by taking a step back and relaxing. And then you allow yourself to motivate yourself before the presentation, so you calm yourself down in this anxiety. The second question is, how do you want the audience to feel? How do you want the audience to feel during the presentation? What's the key emotion that they would like to feel in your presentation? Do you want them to feel guilty? Maybe you're doing a fundraiser. Recently, I worked with a fundraiser for children, and the overall concept is, yeah, you want to feel people guilty, and you want to them motivate them and feel them engaged, that they give you money so you can do some really great work. Do you want to feel them that something's lacking in their life? Do you want to feel them just excited about being part of your group? Maybe being excited about working with you on the changes that are coming to your corporation or to your work. Do you want to make them feel sad? Do you make them feel that this is a loss? Do you want to have them go through catharsis in the event so they can express their frustrations before you lift them up at the end? A clear idea of the emotions that you want to create in the event, which is very obvious, but most people don't think about this, will change the way you structure your presentation. The last question is, how are you going to feel after the presentation? Most people expect that they've put so much work into this whole thing, they hope that at the end of this people are clapping, people are happy, but most importantly, how will you reinforce to yourself that you are giving great presentations? You've got to figure out a way to feel relaxed, good about yourself, and give yourself something afterwards. Give yourself a gift of a break, a gift of something that's good for your body, good for your soul, good for yourself, but something that starts reinforcing that giving presentations is a pleasurable experience, so that next time you go there, you start the whole thing with less anxiety every time, with more excitement every time, and therefore, the more excited, the more calm and collected, but happy you are about giving presentations, the greater your presentations are going to be. So I hope some of these new ideas from the movie world are going to help you give presentations and feel better about yourself. If you like more information, I have a whole big program that goes in detail and with exercises about how to present, how to prepare, how to work on your anxiety, how to work with content, and all these different elements. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please be so kind and leave some feedback and maybe a 5-star rating so other people can check it out and hopefully make their presentations just, a really great experience, not just for the people in the audience, but also for yourself, so that you look forward and that you are excited about being a really great presenter and getting the audience to their feet at the end of every presentation.